former NATO senior representative and a former advisor to Italy's defense minister, and he joins us now live from Rome. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us on the program. Now, our correspondent walked us through that very impressive set of inventory that is set to make its way to Ukraine. But is it going to be enough to meet Ukraine's needs at this point in time?
First of all, thank you very much for having me again. It's great to be on your show. And your correspondent was spot on. It is an impressive array of goods that are being sent, of weapons that are being sent. It's going to have to be enough because we are going to step. I mean, NATO member states and EU member states, and there's a difference there between NATO and the member states, are going to do the maximum effort. But this Russian aggression is also showing that you never have enough weapons in the face of emergency. And I'd like to add one thing. All this is taking place within a NATO framework. But this is not a NATO initiative. NATO is not involved in the conflict. NATO is only handing over non-lethal equipment, actually, not weapons, equipment, sorry, to the Ukrainians. And it is EU and NATO member states that individually are handing over these equipments. NATO is not involved in the conflict.
Right, but Jens Stoltenberg did mention during the meetings that NATO has to replenish its own stocks, as this war has caused a severe shortage in them, to ensure the security of its member states. How crucial is it that they make that happen as soon as possible, given what's happening in Ukraine?
It is absolutely crucial for our own security and for a credible support to Ukraine itself. It just goes to show that a number of countries, mine among them, Germany, and nearly all NATO countries, except the UK and the US, were wrong when they didn't reach for decades the 2% of military spending on your GDP. Security is paramount, and Russia is showing it now. Right,
security is paramount, you say. We did see Zelensky apply to join NATO in recent time. Whether or not that will happen is of question, but we did hear Putin say that if that indeed does happen, it would lead to World War III.
But that's exactly the reason for which it's not going to happen. And Zelensky knows this very well. I mean, there was a decision taken in 2008. That decision still stands. There is going to be most probably a virtual summit next week of NATO heads of state and government. I very much doubt that there will be a pronunciation in favor of getting a fast track for Ukraine in NATO, because in that case we'd go exactly where we don't want to go, and it means a direct involvement through Article 5 of NATO in the Ukraine-Russian war. Article 5 says once any member attacked has a right to be defended by all other members. If Ukraine becomes a member, it has a right to be defended. And that, it runs counter to the narrative until now and to the political logic.
All right, Stefano Pontecorvo, thank you so much for joining us here on the News Hour. It's a pleasure speaking to you.
It's always great to be on your show. Thank you so much.